Hey there, Melissa Kobi with the Heather Murphy Group at Keller Williams here in Savannah, Georgia. And today we're with Jarad Brown from...
Hey, I'm Jarad Brown with New American Funding here in Savannah, Georgia.
All right, and today we're going to talk about the state of the market. So my first question for you, Jarad, is are we going into a buyer's market?
Yeah, I think so. I think we're much more of a buyer's market now than we were, a couple of years ago. I wouldn't say a full buyer's market because sellers still have their expectations of getting full, price, but we're seeing more houses on the market. We're seeing them sit longer. We're seeing sellers be much more flexible, sometimes covering closing costs and things like that. So I would definitely say we're in a much better buyer position right now than a seller position.
Right. I consider it a balanced market is what we're kind of looking at right now.
More balanced than we've seen for sure.
Yeah, I would agree. All right, my next question is, are you seeing that locally? What you're seeing nationally, are you seeing it here locally as well?
Yeah, absolutely. We're seeing much more houses on the market. We're seeing them sit longer, right? On most of the contracts that I see come across, there are seller concessions on something, right? So we are seeing it become more of a buyer's market here locally in Savannah as well.
All right, so we kind of talked about closing costs. Are you seeing where buyers have to choose one, closing costs or reduction in sales price, or maybe both?
Yeah, I still see where, it's kind of tough for the buyer to get both, right? We're still seeing it where sellers are willing to give, but they're not coming off the sales price and covering all the closing, right? So it's best to get with your realtor, get with your lender, figure out what's important to you, because you're still having to choose a little bit between the two. Do I want more off closing cost or do I want more off the sales price?
All right, from a lender standpoint, which one would be the smarter move?
It's really hard to say. Every buyer's going to be different. Everybody's situation is unique, right? So for some people, bringing less money to capital is more important. For some people, it's that monthly payment, fitting that monthly payment in the budget. The most important thing is understanding what is best for you. Is it, injecting less capital into the transaction, or is it those monthly savings?
And as of right now, where are you seeing interest rates and are they stable?
Stable. Yeah, interest rates have been floating around the same highs and lows for about the last 3 years. We're seeing things in the sixes, right? And if you've looked at interest rates over the last 3 years, likely you've seen a 6 in front of whatever the other numbers are, right? And we're still seeing that. As far as stability, we still don't have a crystal ball. We don't know where they're going to go, right? And stability isn't a bad thing, right? Stability allows you to understand what your expectations are. And so right now we're still seeing interest rates in the sixes. They are stable. From day to day, they can go up, they can go down, but we're seeing them in a pretty stable range.
All right, so next question that I get all the time is it smart for buyers to wait for rates to go down?
Waiting for rates to go down. There are still people from 2022 that are waiting for rates to go down. And you know what's happened to them over that time? Home values have gone up exponentially, right? And so the best time to buy is now. We're going to continue seeing home values rise going forward. That's what we expect. We don't expect any great, huge drop in interest rates over the next few years. So locking in today's purchase price at today's rates, and then once rates do eventually come down, refinancing is still the play for most buyers.
All right, so with the market now, are we seeing that lenders are being more flexible to get deals to closing?
Well, lenders are still being responsible and guidelines are still in place, but we are seeing a little bit more flexibility, a little bit more creativeness in the lending process to get people into homes. So the best thing to do is get with the lender early so that you can put together a proper game plan before you find the house that you love.
Absolutely. Yeah, the last thing you want is to be scrambling at the end there trying to put a deal together. So, all right. And compared to years ago, how would you say the pre-qualifying process has changed?
So, the actual process itself has become more streamlined and quick with verification of assets and income. But what we're looking for from a qualifying standpoint hasn't really changed much over that period of time. We're still looking for quality credit scores, income, assets for qualifying for a home. So those things still hold true, although the process has become a lot faster and a lot more educational and streamlined than it has been in the past.
Jarad.
Yes.
All right, what are some of the positives for buyers moving to Savannah?
Oh, there's a lot of positives out there for moving to Savannah right now. One, beautiful city. The azaleas are blooming. Looks absolutely amazing. It's 75 degrees, sunny. absolutely amazing. But beyond that, we have a lot of inventory, right? Which gives buyers negotiating power, puts them in a great position when going out there and finding a home, gives them things to choose from, in every single neighborhood. And it seems like these neighborhoods in Savannah, they just keep getting better and better. Better restaurants, better parks. Savannah really is thriving. It's growing. It's a hot spot. It's a place to be. It's a destination. So lots of positives going on, especially for people who are looking to buy houses in Savannah right now.
We've got new and old, historic, all of it. Waterfront, you name it, we have it. Okay, Jarad, so there's some changes coming up in May in regards to VA appraisals. Can you give us some more insight on that?
Yeah, so basically the VA softening their approach to their VA required repairs, no longer needing to have chip paint repaired as before, and the repair of outbuildings like sheds and things like that. So they're softening up their requirements around that.
Yep. So why is that important?
Well, it's important because in the past, VA loans may not be accepted over a conventional loan on a house that needs those repairs, right? And so this will make VA homebuyers more competitive as word gets out there that, there's not fears around excessive VA required repairs after the appraisal, then they'll have more of a competitive advantage when going against the conventional loans.
Yep.
And especially against FHA and USDA.
Yep, absolutely. I agree. So Jarad, we've talked a lot about lending and condition and everything. So let's talk about first-time home buyers.
Yes.
Do you think now is a good time for first-time home buyers to get into the market?
Absolutely. With the amount of inventory that we have in the market currently, I would say that now's a great time to get in, right? There's plenty out there to choose from, to find one that, fits your needs as that, first home, that starter home. And so now's a great time to get out there, to get pre-approved, understand how much you can afford, and get that process started.
Yeah, absolutely. We are seeing inventory increase at all price points. So I would agree with that now it's definitely a good time for first-time home buyers to get out there and start looking.
Yeah, and we're seeing the ability to negotiate some things like closing costs, which could reduce the amount of money that you need to put into the transactions. So it's a great time for them to get out there.
Yep. I'm sure you get this a lot. You start chatting with people. I know we've had a couple of clients mutually here lately who are on the fence. What would you say to those people to encourage them to consider purchasing?
Absolutely. More than saying something to them or trying to encourage them, I ask them, what are you waiting on? What are you looking for?
Yeah.
Right. Most people are driven by fear, right? That they're afraid that they're going to buy too soon and miss out on something,
right,
or that they're going to wait too long and miss out on something, right? And most of that fear just comes from not having the answers that they need. What I would tell somebody who's on the fence is get with a good realtor, get with a good lender, have your questions answered. Because what I find is when most people are fully informed, that fear's gone, and then they can act on what is in their best financial interest. And for the most part, that typically is buying a home. We both know that that's the only way to create generational wealth.
Absolutely.
Is purchasing a home. So what I would ask is, what are you waiting on?
Right. Fair. I agree. Okay, my last question for you is, what is the biggest misconception in our market?
I think the biggest misconception that we're seeing right now is that there's going to be a huge event coming up right around the corner. That either there's going to be a housing market crash that's going to bring down home prices, or interest rates are going to fall to 2%. Nobody's seeing anything big on the horizon. The last 3 years have been very stable. We've seen home prices increase, but at a stable amount. We've seen interest rates fall, but at a stable amount. There's not anything coming that is going to be this huge, impact to either home values or interest rates. Buying has always been better than renting. That is still true today. It's not timing the market, not getting in right before that big thing happens. It's not timing the market, it's timing in the market. The people that bought 3 years ago at a 6.25% interest rate and had the guts to do so are now enjoying all the equity that they've made over the last 3 years. The ones that have been renting for the last 3 years have zero equity, and they're still renting. So the biggest misconception is that there's this thing out there and it's right around the corner and it's about to happen. Mm-hmm. It's not.
Yep. It's always smarter to invest in yourself, not someone else, for sure. All right. So my official question, last question of the day, would be, how do people contact you?
Oh, very simple. My cell phone's very public. Call me, text me. The answer is always call or text Jarad. 912-604-8848. Share it with your friends, share it with anybody. It's my personal cell. Don't call it past midnight, but call or text me literally anytime.
Yeah, Jared's got you for sure. Jarad Brown with New American Funding. Thank you for joining me today, and I'm Melissa Kobi with the Heather Murphy Group at Keller Williams here in Savannah, Georgia.